I was looking at some stuff, and I tell you what, the more I think about things, I just it's just really wild. It's just like some people I can sit there and talk to and chat with, and other people it's like, where did they come from? Why are there no similarities between me and whoever? Um, the difference between night and day. The difference between black and white, the difference between A and Z, the difference between the sky and the ground. Um, I and what it dealt with was basically how somebody was laughing at something, and I'm like, to them they thought that something was really really funny, and what I saw was somebody who almost broke their neck. It reminds me of the TV show from umpteen years ago, and all I could think of is kick them in the nuts. I mean, basically, they were using balls and whatever else, and then somebody would be grabbing their crotch, and then there'd be some sort of laughter. And I was like, that crap ain't funny when somebody gets kicked in the balls. There's a chance that there could be some very serious damage there. And then I think, why is it that somebody thinks that something like that is funny? And then what's even more disturbing is, why is it that people are sitting back? It's a long story. That's when I was with somebody that I should have never gotten involved with. But my point is there was a whole different sense of humor, and then so the television would go on. Maybe that's the reason why I ended up throwing the television sets away. I threw most of the television sets away that I could. I kept a couple around so I can end up playing DVDs in them, but I was like, I didn't want the filth coming in. It's kind of like the saying, garbage in, garbage out. In fact, I looked at some of the things that are done through the power of suggestion with televisions and stuff, and with movies, and with the hidden subliminal messages, and it really makes me cringe when I think about, is there something else going on in the music? It's not that I'm paranoid, but when I look back and I see all sorts of things like Mickey holding Minnie holding Mickey's, you know what, and just some things that, I was looking at a drawing of, well, I mean, look at Family Guy. I mean, if that doesn't just scream out just sexual perversion. And then also there were drawings of Popeye, and I'm like, what's the deal? In order to make it big, is being a sexual pervert and hiding subliminal messages and stuff into things? Is that what it takes to become filthy, stinking rich? And I know that might sound bonkers, but it's just like, why would anybody want to sit there? I mean, if that's what it took to make whatever amount a year, is that really where you want to be on your deathbed, when people are coming to the realization that they're physically they're not going to be around much longer and stuff, and going, oh, maybe I gambled on the wrong side. Maybe my existence on earth was not just about me. I just look at some of the stuff that goes on with the pathological liars, the ones that just sit there and just are so devoid of a conscience, and just all the other stuff going on. I just I mean, it's really wild. I'll give one example. I was trying to run for a political office, and I just, it's like the more I ended up trying to run for a political office, it's like the more fierce that the cowards that put out mailers against me got. But it's just kind of wild. It's like even if even if one of them never told me which one was up to it, I already know who it is. Who had sent out some stuff. I already know it. I mean, I just look at this stuff, and I mean, it's weird to end up looking at things just like I call it the Black Cadillac Club. It's not funny, but I just when I look at the things, and I began reading different things that were written way back when, because I was trying to figure out what made some people tick, and made it's just like they were just so different. It would be like sorting out socks and going, okay, that sock's black, that one's white, that one's gray, that one has a giraffe pattern on it, that one has a little piggy thing on it, that one's green polka dotted, that one's and just sitting there and sorting out the socks, and just going, okay, that sock does not look like that one, and then you just come to the realization that some socks are just so bizarre. It's like not only why is that sock made that way, but why would anybody have well, I just leave it at it what why does that sock look that way? It reminds me, well, I'm not going to go down that road right now. I looked at a very disturbing video last night, and I'm not going to go into everything that just went through my mind with the thing. It once again, I think it was the Y WHY X Y and Z, but then yet at the same time there's XYZ, there's STU, and at the same time there's STU, there's DEF, and then at the same time there's DEF, there's a my point being is that there's a different makeup of different things, but the different things are not alike. And it's like, oh, so there's XYZ and there's ABC, but then yet sometimes there's only ABC allowed, uh, and there's no X, Y, and Z. But it just sometimes it's not sometimes, it's so many times what's going on just does not make any sense. It really doesn't. It's like, well, why is Kenneth Copeland? Why isn't Kenneth Copeland prosecuted? That doesn't make sense. How can somebody openly lie and say that they're stopping crime and they're stopping criminals when it's so obvious that Kenneth Copeland's a criminal? I mean, just looking at the man that Kenneth Copeland hit, man was sitting in a wheelchair. Kenneth Copeland hits him in the head, and the man falls backwards. Hits his head on the ground, on the floor, the whatever. And Kenneth Copeland's still walking around freely. I'll give another example. Kenneth Copeland takes something, I don't know if it was a knife or what it was, it's been a while since I watched that video. Cuts his hand open, drips blood from his hand into a cup that had, what was it, water or cranberry juice or something in it, and then drinks the blood, and I'm like, oh. So basically, people are given whacked out ideas by Kenneth Copeland on national television, whatever. That sort of crap's is normal, and Kenneth Copeland's not locked up in some psychiatric unit. Oh, and then I just my point is when I think about some of the crap that goes on, and I'm like, oh, that must be one of the ones who comes under the self-written papal immunity. Must be Kenneth Copeland. Let me just write up my immunity for being prosecuted. And then basically Kenneth Copeland gets by with all sorts of shit that if your average Joe Blow out there even thought about doing some of the shit that Kenneth Copeland is actually doing, just the mere thought of doing something like that would have somebody locked up. But it's by one of the ones that's on the same side as Kenneth Copeland. I mean, just think about that. There's a part of me that feels like just going into some different buildings and going, oh, this is where such and such happened, this is where such and such happened, and all that kind of stuff, and just go through the different things, and uh, I had thought about writing some different books on things, and I decided not to because when I realized that so many times things that were intended to be something that were good are all of a sudden used for something very wicked and diabolical, I just kind of like I don't want to supply somebody with the ammunition. And I really don't want to supply somebody with the ammunition and shine the bullets. I have seen so much wicked crap. And the people that are doing the wicked crap, most people would turn around and basically tell me, oh, that I have a screw loose. And then the ones that are doing the wicked, diabolical, sinister as shit stuff would inevitably have some kind of psychopathic smirk on their face. I mean, it reminds me of, somebody ended up doing drone footage of Epstein after the media lied about Epstein, dying or committing suicide and all that kind of stuff. And it's like it's already out there. It's just like just the constant crap that the mass media puts out. I decided to emphasize the word mass since I had talked about Kenneth Copeland. I mean, maybe he and Todd Bentley should just come out and hold hands and uh, I mean, I just look at it. Maybe that's what Kenneth Copeland needs. So, some of the steel-toed boots and stuff. Maybe some Todd Bentley tattoos on Kenneth Copeland. People would still be bowing down and worshiping Kenneth Copeland. I mean, he's their Messiah. I just look at the crap and it's just like, oh crap. I can't even tell you the number of the people who were, oh, so and so's really, really good. Oh, I saw him last year. Oh, so and so's really, really good. And I guess the most disturbing of them are what I would call the wolves in the pulpits. But I'm also glad that when I stumbled around something, it's like there's a woman I don't agree with everything that she does, but she ended up putting out something dealing with the churches being what is it, the strong delusion or the deception. I was like, I wish more people got that through their head. But then I think about come out of her, my people do not partake in her sins. If that doesn't deal with the if that if I don't even know where that one is, but if that does not scream, don't have anything to do with the church, I don't know what one Bible verse, sentence, whatever, group of words written on a page would just scream, don't go to church.